What if the most important thing you could do for your brain tonight costs almost nothing, takes less than 5 minutes, and most people over 60 have no idea it even exists? Not a pill, not a procedure, 1 cup before bed. And the science behind why it works is genuinely one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern neuroscience. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share completely changes how you think about sleep, aging, and your brain. I'm Dr. William Lee. I'm a physician, scientist, and author, and I've spent decades studying how the human body defends itself, how it heals, how it regenerates, and how it protects its most vital systems. My work at the Angiogenesis Foundation has taken me deep into the biology of disease prevention, and what I'm going to walk you through today is rooted in real science that has been published in some of the most respected journals in the world. If you're new here, this channel is called BioSecrets, and we share exactly this kind of research, things your doctor may not have time to explain during a 15-minute appointment. If that interests you, hit subscribe now so you never miss what we cover next. Let's start with something that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You're in the middle of a sentence and the word just vanishes. You meet someone you've met before and the name is simply gone. For most people over 60, these moments happen and they quietly wonder, is this the beginning of something worse? That fear is real and it's valid. But what most people don't know is that these experiences often have a specific biological cause, and that cause is something your body already has a built-in system to fix. You just have to give it the right conditions to do its job. Here's the belief I want to challenge right now, because it's one that quietly does a lot of damage. Most people assume that memory loss after 60 is simply the brain getting old, like a machine wearing out, parts going bad, nothing you can really do about it. That assumption feels logical, but modern neuroscience says something very different. The brain is not a passive machine slowly breaking down. It is an active, living, constantly self-maintaining organ, and one of the most powerful maintenance systems it has was only discovered about a decade ago. It operates almost entirely while you sleep, and when it doesn't work properly, when it gets disrupted night after night, the consequences show up in your memory, your focus, and eventually your long-term brain health. That system is called the glymphatic system, and understanding it is going to change the way you think about every single night of sleep you have from this point forward. Think about every other organ in your body. Your liver filters toxins, your kidneys clean your blood, your lymphatic system drains waste from your tissues. But what about your brain? Your brain is one of the most metabolically active organs in your entire body. It uses roughly 20% of all your energy, despite being only about 2% of your body weight. That level of activity generates waste metabolic byproducts, damaged proteins, cellular debris, and for a long time, scientists were actually puzzled by something. The brain doesn't have a traditional lymphatic drainage system the way the rest of your body does. So how does it clean itself? The answer came in a groundbreaking 2013 study out of the University of Rochester, led by Dr. Macon Nettergaard. What her team discovered was extraordinary. The brain has its own private cleaning system, the glymphatic system, named after the glial cells that power it. Here's how it works, and I want you to picture this clearly, because it's remarkable. Your brain is surrounded and penetrated by a network of channels. During sleep, specifically during deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid is actively pumped through these channels, flowing through the spaces between brain cells. This fluid acts like a rinse cycle, flushing out waste products that have built up throughout the day. The fluid then carries that waste out of the brain and into the body's regular waste disposal system, where it's eventually eliminated. This is your brain taking out its own trash every night while you sleep. And here is where it gets critically important, especially if you're over 60. One of the primary waste products that the glymphatic system clears is a protein called beta-amyloid. You may have heard that name before. Beta-amyloid is the same protein that accumulates in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. It builds up in sticky plaques between neurons and is strongly associated with the cognitive decline and memory loss that defines that condition. Your glymphatic system, when it's working well, is actively clearing beta-amyloid from your brain every single night. When it's not working well, when your sleep is fragmented, too short, or the system itself is impaired, that protein builds up. Over time, that buildup matters enormously. This is not speculation. Research published in Science, in Nature, and in journals like JAMA Neurology has consistently supported the link between disrupted glymphatic function, beta-amyloid accumulation, and cognitive decline. There's even data showing that just one night of poor sleep can measurably increase beta-amyloid levels in the brain the following morning. One night. Now imagine what years of poor sleep do. And here's the part that applies directly to you if you're over 60. The glymphatic system naturally becomes less efficient with age. The channels narrow slightly. The pumping mechanism, which relies on the rhythmic pulsing of blood vessels, becomes less coordinated. The proportion of time you spend in deep sleep, which is when glymphatic activity is most powerful, naturally decreases as you get older. This is not a small effect. Studies suggest that glymphatic function can decline by as much as 40% between young adulthood and older age, 40% less clearing of brain waste every single night, year after year. That is one of the most significant and underappreciated contributors to age-related cognitive decline. And the beautiful thing, the genuinely hopeful thing, is that it's not fully outside your control. Because what you drink before bed, what you eat during the day, and how you prepare your body for sleep can meaningfully influence how well your glymphatic system performs tonight. So let's talk about the one cup that can make a real difference. And I'll tell you right now, it's not a magic potion. It's not some exotic supplement no one has heard of. What makes it powerful is the specific combination of compounds inside it and the way those compounds interact with your brain's cleaning system. Keep watching, because I'm going to explain every piece of this. The drink I'm referring to is warm golden milk, a preparation rooted in ancient tradition but now backed by a growing body of modern science. At its core, it's warm milk, or a plant-based alternative combined with turmeric, a small amount of black pepper, and optionally a touch of cinnamon and raw honey. That's it, 5 ingredients. 1 cup, consumed about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. And here's why each component matters for your brain specifically. Let's start with turmeric, because this is the centerpiece. The active compound in turmeric is called curcumin. Curcumin has been studied extensively. There are now thousands of published papers examining its effects on the body, and what emerges from that research is a picture of a molecule that operates in genuinely remarkable ways inside the brain. First, curcumin has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. It suppresses a family of signaling molecules called cytokines that drive inflammation inside the brain. This matters enormously because chronic low-grade neuroinflammation is now recognized as one of the key drivers of cognitive aging and neurodegenerative disease. When inflammation is present in the brain, it disrupts neural signaling, impairs memory consolidation, and over time contributes to cellular damage that accelerates decline. Second, and directly relevant to what we were just discussing, curcumin has shown an ability to reduce beta-amyloid accumulation in the brain. Multiple animal studies and early human research have demonstrated that curcumin can inhibit the formation of amyloid plaques and may even help break down existing deposits. A landmark study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that elderly individuals who consumed curcumin-containing curry even infrequently performed significantly better on cognitive assessments than those who rarely consumed it. While this is observational data, it aligns with the mechanistic research in a way that is very difficult to dismiss. Third, curcumin crosses the blood-brain barrier. This is critical. Many compounds that look promising in the lab never actually reach the brain because the brain has an extraordinarily tight security system, the blood-brain barrier that prevents most substances from entering. Curcumin is one of the relatively rare dietary compounds that can penetrate this barrier, meaning it can actually get to where it's needed. Now, there's an important caveat here, and I want to be honest with you because that's what you deserve. Curcumin on its own has poor bioavailability, meaning your body doesn't absorb it very efficiently when you consume it alone. This is exactly why black pepper is not optional in this recipe. It's essential. Black pepper contains a compound called piperine, and piperine dramatically enhances curcumin absorption by as much as 2,000%, according to research published in Planta Medica. 2,000%. That is not a typo. A small pinch of black pepper transforms turmeric from a mildly useful spice into a genuinely bioavailable therapeutic compound. Always use them together. Now let's talk about the milk component, because this is not just a vehicle for the other ingredients. Milk, whether dairy or certain plant-based alternatives like oat milk or almond milk, contributes something specific and valuable for nighttime brain health. Dairy milk contains tryptophan, an amino acid that your body uses to produce serotonin, and from serotonin, melatonin. Melatonin is your primary sleep hormone. It signals to your brain and body that night has arrived and that it's time to begin the sleep process. Consuming tryptophan in the evening in a warm liquid form that also promotes relaxation can gently support your body's natural melatonin production. And why does this matter for the glymphatic system? Because the glymphatic system operates primarily during deep, slow-wave sleep. Better sleep quality, specifically more time spent in deep sleep, means more glymphatic activity. Anything that helps you fall asleep more naturally and sleep more deeply is, in effect, helping your brain clean itself more efficiently overnight. This is the chain reaction you want to set in motion. Warm liquid itself plays a role here too. The warmth of the drink activates your body's parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system that counters the stress response. When your parasympathetic system is engaged, your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, your breathing deepens, you are physically transitioning your body into a state that is more conducive to the kind of deep, restorative sleep where glymphatic activity peaks. This is why cold beverages don't produce the same effect. The warmth matters. Cinnamon, when you add it, brings its own contribution. Cinnamon contains compounds called cinnamaldehydes and proanthocyanidins that have demonstrated neuroprotective properties in research settings. There is animal research suggesting that cinnamon extract can reduce the formation of tau protein tangles, another hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. Alongside beta-amyloid plaques, tau tangles disrupt the internal transport system of neurons, essentially breaking down the infrastructure of the brain cell. Any dietary compound that may help prevent tau accumulation is worth paying close attention to, even as we wait for more robust human clinical trial data. Raw honey, when used in very small amounts, provides trace minerals and has antioxidant properties. It also has a low glycemic impact compared to refined sugar, which means it won't cause the blood sugar spike that can disrupt sleep architecture. Refined sugar before bed is actually counterproductive for sleep quality. It can cause a blood sugar crash during the night that triggers cortisol release, which fragments your sleep and disrupts the glymphatic cycle. Raw honey in a small amount doesn't produce this effect and adds a subtle sweetness that makes the drink more pleasurable to consume consistently. Consistency is actually one of the most important words in this entire conversation. The glymphatic system isn't something you boost dramatically with one good night of sleep and then forget about. It's a system you support or undermine every single night through your choices. 1 cup of golden milk before bed is valuable not because it produces an instant dramatic effect, but because it contributes to the conditions reduced neuroinflammation, better sleep quality, reduced amyloid burden over time that accumulate meaningfully over weeks and months. Now I want to go a bit deeper on something because I don't want this to be just about a single drink. The glymphatic system is part of a larger picture of brain health after 60, and there are several other factors that directly influence how well it performs that I think you need to know about. Body position during sleep turns out to matter more than most people realize. Research led by Dr. Nedergaard's team, published in the Journal of Neuroscience, found that the glymphatic system is significantly more active in certain sleep positions. Sleeping on your side, what scientists call the lateral position, appears to optimize glymphatic flow compared to sleeping on your back or stomach. The researchers found that waste clearance was notably more efficient in the side sleeping position. This is a zero-cost, zero-effort adjustment that could meaningfully improve how thoroughly your brain flushes toxins each night. Alcohol is one of the most underappreciated threats to glymphatic function. Many people over 60 have a glass of wine or a drink in the evening thinking it will help them relax and sleep better. The evidence says the opposite is true for brain health. While alcohol may help you fall asleep initially, it severely disrupts sleep architecture. Specifically, it suppresses the deep, slow-wave sleep that powers glymphatic activity. Studies using EEG measurements of brain activity have shown that even moderate alcohol consumption significantly reduces slow-wave sleep duration. Less deep sleep means less glymphatic flushing. Reduced glymphatic flushing means more beta-amyloid and tau accumulation. Replacing your evening drink with a cup of golden milk is not just addition, it's subtraction of something genuinely harmful to your brain's nightly cleaning process. Sleep timing also matters. The glymphatic system is not active in a linear way throughout the night. Its activity is closely tied to your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. Research suggests that glymphatic clearance is most efficient during the first half of the night and during the hours when your body temperature naturally drops. Going to bed consistently at a reasonable hour, rather than staying up late and shifting your sleep window, helps ensure that your brain's cleaning cycle aligns with your biology rather than working against it. Hydration is another factor that directly supports glymphatic function. The system uses cerebrospinal fluid, a water-based fluid, to flush toxins through the brain. If you are dehydrated, the production and circulation of cerebrospinal fluid is impaired. Mild chronic dehydration, which is extremely common in people over 60 because the sensation of thirst diminishes with age, can meaningfully reduce glymphatic efficiency. Drinking enough water during the day, not just before bed, since large amounts of fluid right before sleep can disrupt sleep through nighttime awakenings, is a foundational habit for brain health. Exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, has been shown to enhance glymphatic function. A study published in Nature Communications demonstrated that regular physical activity increases the rate of interstitial fluid flow in the brain, which directly supports the clearance of metabolic waste. You don't need intense exercise. A 30-minute brisk walk most days of the week is enough to produce a measurable benefit. Movement keeps the brain's plumbing working. And then there is chronic stress, which is perhaps the most insidious disruptor of all. Chronic psychological stress elevates cortisol levels in the body. Elevated cortisol disrupts sleep architecture, fragments deep sleep, and impairs glymphatic function. Stress also drives neuroinflammation through the same cytokine pathways that curcumin helps to quiet. Managing stress is not a luxury. It is one of the most direct things you can do to protect your cognitive health. Whether that's through meditation, time in nature, connection with loved ones, or creative pursuits, finding ways to lower the chronic stress burden on your body has real, measurable effects on your brain. I want to return to something for a moment because it's worth sitting with. Your brain right now tonight has the capacity to clear waste, reduce inflammation, consolidate memories, and prepare itself for another day of full function. That system is already inside you. It was built into your biology, what you're doing when you make these choices: the golden milk before bed, the earlier sleep time, the position you sleep in, the hydration during the day. You're not forcing your body to do something unnatural. You're removing the obstacles that modern life has placed in the way of something your body already wants to do. This reframe matters because when people hear about brain health, they often feel a sense of dread, like they're racing against an inevitable decline they can't affect. That feeling is understandable, but it's not accurate. The science of neuroplasticity, the emerging understanding of the glymphatic system, the research on dietary, neuroprotection, all of it points in the same direction. Your choices have impact. Your biology is responsive. The brain is not waiting passively for something to go wrong. It is actively working to stay healthy, and your job is to support it. Let me give you a simple, practical framework to take away from this. In the 30 to 45 minutes before you plan to sleep, prepare your cup of golden milk. Warm 8 ounces of milk or your preferred plant-based alternative gently on the stove. Don't boil it. Add half a teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder, a small pinch of black pepper, not enough to taste it strongly, just enough to activate the curcumin, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon if you enjoy it, and a small drizzle of raw honey if you need sweetness. Stir it well and drink it slowly, without screens, without stimulation, in a calm and quiet environment. Let that be your evening signal to your nervous system that the day is done and rest is beginning. Then turn off or dim your lights. Keep your bedroom cool. Research consistently shows that a slightly cooler sleep environment enhances the depth and quality of sleep. Try to settle on your side. Protect the next 7 to 8 hours as seriously as you protect anything else important in your life, because what happens in those hours is not passive. Your brain is working. Your glymphatic system is running its cycle. Your memories are being organized and stored. Your toxic waste is being cleared. You are, in the most literal biological sense, maintaining your mind. One more thing I want to address, because I know it comes up. Some people ask, is this enough? Is a cup of golden milk and better sleep hygiene really going to stop memory decline? Here is my honest answer as a physician. There is no single intervention that eliminates all risk of cognitive decline. Genetics, environment, lifetime health history, these all play a role. What I can tell you is that the science clearly supports the idea that optimizing your glymphatic function, reducing neuroinflammation, and improving sleep quality are among the most powerful modifiable factors available to you. These are not marginal interventions. They are central to how the brain protects itself. And the earlier you start, the more you benefit, but it is also never too late to begin. I've spoken with people in their 70s and 80s who made these kinds of changes and noticed real differences: clearer thinking in the mornings, sharper word recall, more consistent energy and focus during the day. These aren't miraculous outcomes. They're what happens when you stop disrupting a system that your body already knows how to run. So tonight, if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this: your brain cleans itself while you sleep. It does this by using a flow of fluid that flushes out the proteins and waste that accumulate throughout the day, including beta-amyloid, one of the key proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. This system works best during deep sleep. A warm cup of golden milk before bed can support this process through anti-inflammatory curcumin, sleep-supporting tryptophan, and the parasympathetic activation that warmth itself provides. This is not folklore. This is biology, and it is available to you tonight for the cost of a few spices and a cup of warm milk. I'd love to hear from you right now. Do you already drink something warm before bed, or is this the first time you've heard about the glymphatic system? Drop it in the comments below. I read them, and your experience might help someone else in this community who's wrestling with the same questions about their brain health. This is the kind of conversation that matters, and I'm grateful you're having it here. If someone you care about is over 60, a parent, a sibling, a close friend, please share this video with them. Not because you're worried, but because this is exactly the kind of information that can change daily habits in a way that protects the most important organ in their body. One share from you could be the reason someone starts a new habit tonight that serves them for decades. And if you want to keep learning about how your body defends itself and what real science says you can do about your health, subscribe to BioSecrets right now. We bring you this kind of depth every week, not headlines, not hype, but the actual biology of what's happening inside you and what you can genuinely do about it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Your brain is counting on you.